Are you trying very hard to become a good Ziggs player just like Hells but failing at it badly? Well, do not worry, because me and Hells are both going to help you in becoming a better player. In the next few minutes, we will be explaining all his abilities, his build, combos, laning phase, along with tips and tricks as well. So, ready up your bombs, and let's jump into the world of Wild Rift. Let's start off with his abilities first. His passive is innate, and it's very simple to understand. After every 12 seconds, Ziggs' next basic attack deals additional magic damage. The damage is increased up to 150% when dealt 2 structures. It clearly indicates that Ziggs is indeed a great turret pusher. Also, the cooldown of the passive is reduced upon casting an ability. His first ability is Bouncing Bomb. Ziggs throws a bomb which explodes upon contact with enemy and deals damage. It's a really good poking ability to harass enemy laners. If the bomb doesn't hit an enemy, it'll explode after bouncing 3 times. The best part about the ability is that you can poke from very long distances. You do not have to be close to deal the damage. This ability deals some insane damage after getting some items. All in all, it's really a great ability to have in a kit. What do you think, Hells?
So damn good.
Even Hells agrees. His second ability is Satchel Charge. He places an explosive at a target location for 4 seconds. After the duration ends, it explodes and it deals damage to the enemies who were on it. It knocks them back as well. Ziggs can also jump to a certain distance if he stands on the satchel. Ziggs can recast the Satchel Charge to make it explode early. The second use of the Satchel Charge is to destroy enemy turrets. When the health of a turret reaches below 15%, then Ziggs can instantly destroy turrets by placing the Satchel Charge. So next time when you see a low health turret, just go and place the explosive to get the turret for your team. A sign appears over the turret, which indicates placing the satchel will destroy it. Quick tip, you can use the Satchel Charge to create a gap between you and the enemy, if they are pretty close to you. Ziggs is very vulnerable when enemies are very close to him. So by this you can create a gap and save yourself from getting killed. There is one more thing you can do with this ability, and Hells will tell that. What is it, Hells?
You can hop over walls.
Yes, absolutely. You can hop over the walls when you want to escape the enemies, or when you want to catch enemies running away from you. His third ability is Hexplosive Minefield. Ziggs sets a cluster of mines at a targeted location, which slows the enemies and deals magic damage to them. The mine slows down the enemies by 35% for 1.5 seconds. Along with the first ability, this ability is also very good for poking enemies. You can easily harass them, especially during the laning phase. This ability is also great at zoning the enemies. For example, your team is doing an objective. Then you can place these mines at the choke points. So either the enemy will retreat, or if they come, then they will have to take loads of damage. His ultimate is Mega Inferno Bomb. Ziggs throws a massive bomb at a target location. Upon reaching the target, the bomb explodes, dealing huge damage to the enemies who are inside the targeted location. The enemies in the center of the circle take the highest damage of all. This ultimate is an absolute beast in teamfights. You can easily make your enemies low with your ultimate, helping you in winning teamfights without much of a hustle. When enemies are doing objectives, they are grouped together. At such times, throwing your ultimate on them will cause too much damage to them. So either they will have to surrender the objective to your team or die. If your team has any hard CC like Malphite, Braum, Amomo etc., then wait for them to engage and only then throw your ultimate. This way you will land your ultimate on most enemies and hence deal the most damage as well. His ultimate is also good for stealing objectives when you can't contest, or if your team is far away from the objective. Now let's move to build and runes. Laden's Echo is the first item you should go for Ziggs. It's a very crucial item for Ziggs, especially since the buff. The poke damage of Laden's Echo synergizes very well with him, since he is a poke champion. For the second item, Liandry's Torment is a must. It gives you extreme value with bonus HP along with its passive burning. You can replace Liandry's with Archangel Staff, if you want, because this build has mana issues. But personally I'd recommend to go for Liandry's only. For the third item, go for Rabadon's Death Cap. provides lots of ability power, and makes Ziggs extremely powerful. If you're facing lots of healers and tanks like Nasus, Mundo etc., then go for Moralinomican as your third item. Gives you max health, flat penetration and of course anti-heal. If you're against lots of tanks and bruisers, go for Void Staff. The percentage penetration helps you easily melt the tanks. You can also go for Crystalline Reflector if you're facing a full AD comp. Gives you armor and help you sustain more in teamfights. For the boots, go for Ionian Boots of Lucidity. And for the enchantment, go for Stasis. Helps in situations where you get caught out. In the runes, choose Aerie or Conqueror depending on the enemy. Aerie is a better overall choice in all situations. But against a heavy tank comp, Conqueror works better. In the second row, go for Brutal. Gives you good amount of penetration and damage in early game. Alternatively, you can also opt for Hunter Vampirism. Gives you Vamp and increases your sustain in lane. In the third row, choose Second Wind or Bone Plating. They also help in increasing your sustain in lane and teamfights. And last not but the least, pick Sweet Tooth. Gives you gold from honey fruit and increases the healing as well. Let's see some of his tips and tricks now. I'll be giving you some tips which will help you a lot during games. First tip is, Ziggs is insanely good at teamfighting due to his sustained damage. So try to always be involved in teamfights as much as possible. Make sure you're in the backline and not in the front line, or else you'll be ripped apart very easily. The next tip is regarding turret pushing. As you already know, casting abilities reduce the cooldown of Ziggs' passive. So to push turrets faster, throw your abilities around and keep resetting his passive. This way, you'll deal more damage to the turret in short amount of time. And the final tip I'd like to give is, always save your second ability to fall back. Do not use it to clear minion waves or to reset your passive. Because this is his only escape ability, and wasting it could lead to you dying from a possible gank from the enemy jungler. Now let's talk about his laning phase and combos. Ziggs' damage actually scales in mid to late game. But he is still very strong against melee matchups in early game. With the poke abilities, you can harass melee champs and deny them lot of farm. But beware, against burst assassins like Zed, Akali, Diana etc., Ziggs can really struggle after hitting level 5, since he has no escape abilities. Against all other matchups, Ziggs outdamages them in mid to late game. So against ranged matchups, try to poke them and just farm. After hitting level 5, try to help other lanes with your ultimate. Roaming isn't really worth on Ziggs because he doesn't have any CC to catch out enemies. So roam only if you're sure you'll be able to pick up a kill or an assist. Coming onto the combos, there isn't really a particular combo for Ziggs. All you have to do is keep spamming his first and third ability to harass them. The next thing you'll know is the enemy is dead and lying next to you. In the end, I'd like to thank Hell's Wild Rift for allowing me to use his clips. He has always been very kind and helpful to me. He's an inspiration to me, and I will always love him to the core of my heart.